All right, Rodney Stepp, the creator of the C19 Experience.
Yes.
This has been some ride, hasn't it?
I call it a journey.
Yes.
I've been referring to it as a journey.
Absolutely, and what a journey it has been. There's been so much that has happened inside of the C19 Experience, but the C19 Experience would not have even existed had it not been for your journey with COVID. So let's talk about how COVID entered your life. What was going on right then?
You know, it's hard to say, Rashida, because it's like I was a perfectly healthy guy.
Mm-hmm.
I was working 24/7, doing what I do, as everybody that knows me knows that I'm a workaholic.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, it was an all of a sudden thing. Started feeling ill for a couple of weeks maybe, and before it really conquered me, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I mean, I was playing music, the city shut down.
Mm-hmm.
When they shut down, we did this one concert. It was for a church. It was for Allen Chapel.
Mm-hmm.
We were helping them to raise funds to put a new roof on the church. It was
Okay.
the Men in the Fire concert.
Mm-hmm.
And we almost canceled because, you know, they said shut everything down, whatever.
Yeah.
But we went ahead and we did the concert. That Friday we was in the church, we set up. That Saturday we did everything. And that was March the 14th.
Okay.
As far as the timeline goes.
Mm-hmm.
My last Toaster concert was March the 11th at
Okay.
Britton Tavern.
Okay.
So I'm thinking somewhere between those two
Mm-hmm.
things is where COVID kind of came into my life.
Okay.
And it goes on from there where actually there was a couple of members of that church of Allen Chapel
Mm-hmm.
that did not make it from COVID.
So they
found
also
out-
had COVID.
Yeah.
Okay.
We found out that one of the guys who had helped us set up
Mm-hmm.
and one of the elder members of the church, female elder member,
Mm-hmm.
had passed.
Wow.
So, you know,
Yeah.
that's where we think my journey began.
Okay. Okay. So what made you seek medical help? What happened with your body? What was that experience? What was going on with you that made you say, I need to see what's going on?
Well, to be totally honest with you, I was defiant.
Were you?
If it hadn't have been for my wife and close friends, I probably would not be sitting there talking to you right now.
Wow.
Because the story goes basically on March 21st, and I had these dates down pat.
Uh-huh.
On March 21st, Stacy McCracken and I did a friend of mine's mother's funeral.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the owner of this facility
Oh, wow.
that we're in today
Mhm.
was his mom's funeral in Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay.
And we, Stacy and I went there. I was sick that day when I left. I had been sick maybe all week.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, especially males, we're like, oh yeah, that's nothing.
Mhm.
I'll be okay tomorrow, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I got back home, my wife said that I went right to bed. I had fever. Fever was steadily going up.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to do anything, didn't want to eat anything, drink anything, do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And she kept trying to get me to go to emergency. I wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
She called three of my friends. She called Jay Majors. She called David Edge Posey. She called Eric Durrett. She called 4 people. And the last one was Steve Cooper, the guy that's behind the camera for the rest of the day. And Steve threatened me with bodily harm, so to speak.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Just the real threats. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, you know, if I didn't get up and obey my wife and go to emergency. I finally did get up that Monday morning.
Okay.
because I was just tired of hearing her say I need to go. Thank God I went.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the day I walked in the hospital and her face when they told her, because this was new,
Right.
that she couldn't come in.
Mm.
And her face was like, wow, I'm just dropping off my husband,
Yeah.
And she didn't see me again for 2 months.
Wow.
And I had been in a couple hours, and I remember them coming in and telling me I had COVID.
Mm-hmm.
It took a while for them to be able to get me a room. I stayed in
Mm-hmm.
emergency for a while. And almost from that point on, everything was a blur.
Yeah.
It's blank. I have no recollection from there.
Well, thank goodness that you had such an amazing and incredible support system around you, because we have heard all the rest. All of the holes have been filled by your amazing team at IU, the healthcare workers, the chaplain. Everyone has filled in the holes, and it has been an amazing story of doctors doing what they do, of people doing their best, but more than anything, of God doing what He does.
It's all about God.
Yeah,
It
and
is.
working
It's
through
all
His
about
people
God.
to make sure that you are here sitting in this chair today, and you're able to produce the C19 experience for the greater good. So tell me about recovery. Tell me about what it was like when you woke up, once you realized what was going on, leaving the hospital. Tell me about that journey.
From what I started remembering,
Mm-hmm.
of course, when I first woke up, I don't know if any of the doctors, they probably told on me, but all I wanted to do was go home.
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted to go home. I didn't know who I was,
Mm-hmm.
where I was, or why I was there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. But I knew I wanted to go home.
Yeah.
If it hadn't have been the staff, the hospital staff became my family. All the nurses, doctors, everybody, because couldn't be in touch with anyone.
Yeah.
And they really, really were there to support my journey, the comeback. And that's what I call it too, is a comeback.
The comeback, yes.
Truly a comeback.
Yeah.
It was like, oh man, what an experience. Each day was a milestone. It was something different.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was being fed through a tube through my nose down to my esophagus, or whether it was they were teaching me how to swallow again. They would actually bring in an x-ray machine and bring in a pudding and some crackers or something, or graham crackers, and have me chew this, swallow it, and have me watch it
so you could see what was happening.
to see what was going on.
Wow.
So I would learn how to, if it went down the wrong side, how to get it back up, how to cough it up.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. I was telling the story out to a friend of mine just the other day, and I still have the box. I have those stretchy things, that they use. I have coins. I have putty. All the things to get my hands
Your
and
motor
my motor skills
back.
Because I couldn't even grab a penny.
Mm.
Couldn't, my hands, they were shaking like you wouldn't believe when I would try to grab something. And I had been flat on my back for the most part. It was over 3 weeks before there was an attempt to even try to get me up.
Wow.
So it was a journey.
Yeah.
It was a journey.
So what happened to make the doctor say, okay, it's okay for him to go home now? Had your body recovered?
Well, actually, they didn't.
Oh.
They really, I was probably forcing the issue more.
Okay.
The doctors were kind of like, okay, we got to maybe we ought to put him back on the drugs because he's unstable, you know. Because I remember kept asking Dr. Biggerstaff, when can I go home? He said, well, you're going to have to go through therapy and this and that. And so then they worked feverishly. They recommended that I go over to community rehab.
Okay.
And I finally, but there were conditions. There were things that I had to do before I could be released to go to rehab. And one of the conditions was they said, you need to walk the entire 5th floor of this unit.
Oh, wow.
And if you can walk the entire 5th floor, we will consider sending you to rehab. They really, in my heart and mind, I don't think they were really ready to release me yet.
And they probably didn't think that you could walk that 5th floor, so.
And I walked that 5th floor.
Wow.
It was tough.
Yeah.
But you know what? I was not.
You were determined.
I was. And I walked that 5th floor and they just was like, wow. You know, because when I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk, I couldn't eat. I mean, there were so many different stories I've heard now.
Yeah.
Dr. Campbell tells a story about me and this popsicle.
Oh.
I don't know if she.
No, tell us the story about the popsicle.
Well, I developed this habit of ice. All of a sudden, I never chewed ice. Never. Not like that. And when I woke up, I always wanted ice because I was always thirsty. And so the nurses, they were great at it. They kept me with containers
just full of ice.
You know, the ice, cubed ice or whatever, you know. And they kept me with the ice, and it was so funny. So all of a sudden, I got into this popsicle crave. I wanted a popsicle. So they said, Mr. Stepp asked for a popsicle. And we got to find the popsicle. Boy, the niece happened to be on duty and had come up to see me, and Dr. Campbell, you know, and she has to really be the one to tell it, but she said that popsicle went everywhere but in my mouth.
Oh no!
She said, you know, Rodney prides himself on the way he looks and stuff. And he was like, that popsicle was all on his chin, all on his chest, because I couldn't.
You couldn't hold it
and stuff. But I tried.
You wanted that popsicle.
I tried.
Wow.
Yeah, but you'll have to tell you that story.
I will ask. I will definitely ask. So you get yourself with sheer determination around that 5th floor, and they say, okay, we're going to go ahead and let you leave. Tell us about that last day.
Well, I was still there probably close to almost a week.
After that? Okay.
And, but then that last day was so monumental. It was, the memory of it is still, and the videos. There are videos, I'm sure, that will show a parade, basically.
Wow.
Can you imagine? You know, when you're released from a hospital like that, you know, you can't, you're either in a wheelchair or you're on the gurney, you know.
Yeah.
They had me on the gurney, of course. And they paraded me through the 5th floor. Every unit that I had been in, they took me to every floor.
Wow.
The ICU, the 5th floor, the 4th floor, and then the last one, of course, was ER. I went through ER. Every time we came out of the elevator, the song from the Beatles, Here Comes the Sun, that's what they played. So they're playing the song, Here Comes the Sun, they're taking me, and then the staff, and on each floor they're lined up and they're cheering and applauding and wishing me well and this and that. And oh man, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry or cheer. I was just so emotionally, you know, just wow, overwhelmed.
Yeah.
That It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I imagine that being able to see you leave the hospital, and at this point everyone in the hospital knows who Rodney Stepp is and that he's in the hospital and what's going on. You had a vigil there that was organized by Stacey McCracken, and that a lot of the staff got to participate in. And I'm sure everyone knew what your state of health was at that time, and bringing people together in that way where they were able to pray together and just work together for a common goal of helping their fellow man, live on this planet, and then to be able to participate in this parade and know that at the end of this parade you were going to be able to leave. I am certain that even though a lot of love was being showered upon you, you were also giving them a gift of being able to know that the work that all of them had been doing up until that time was worth it.
Yes, most definitely. It's they didn't want to tell me a lot of things, and I understand why now, because even today I'm learning things about myself that I went through. And when you have a near-death experience and you're here to talk about it, but you didn't know about it. You learn all these that, wow, organs shut down. I did what? Are you kidding me? It's a journey. And that's all I could keep emphasizing. It is a journey.
It is.
And my message to a lot of people is, even to this day, I didn't ask for COVID.
Right.
Most people didn't ask for COVID.
Nobody.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But there are things that we can do, including getting the vaccine. Get the vaccine. No, it might not even save your life, but it might not take your life either.
Yeah.
And stop playing 50-50 with
Yeah.
it. Don't get COVID and then,
see what's
going to happen.
Yeah.
No, so at least get the vaccine, slow it down, whatever. People ask me all the time, well, you had it, antibodies, blah, blah, this and that. Why are you getting it? Hey, I don't want this again.
Right.
And whatever they manufacture, I'm getting it.
Yeah.
When they have the boosters, I'm going to be the first one inquiring about it, because I'm sure there's going to be a booster, just like flu shot. Excuse me. So, no, I'm an ambassador for COVID as far as the vaccine. And, I really don't like to even use the word COVID. That's why everything has been C. It's my single that I did, the jazz single that my first song I wrote when I got out of the hospital is C19. My this experience is the C19Experience. I'm not going to give in to that, to the powers of that word. We're going to conquer that. We're going to defeat it.
Yes. And speaking of that, the journey continues, right?
Yes, it does.
You have gone through all of the things that could possibly happen, because of COVID. You have gone through recovery and being able to leave the hospital, and you are not done. You are still doing stuff. Please tell us about please tell us about the current journey that you're on.
Current journey is, first of all, it's God is directing my path. It's definite. I've conceded. It's like I tease and I say I feel like I know how Noah felt now when he told him build that ark. Because I've been obedient ever since I woke up. This has been placed in me. I know that he's directing this, and he wants me to not only bring more people to him, but for people to realize he is God. He is who he is. He's omnipotent. He is God all by himself. He is the reason why I'm the miracle. He provided those doctors their decisions, their hands, their blessings, whatever. He directed all that. And he's directing this because we have gone from me coming out doing a song to writing a song for the C19 Experience using my C19 Experience crew.
Yes.
The song is called No Not Him. We're going to debut it on this show.
Exciting.
The video. We also are doing a gospel concert. It's the C19 Experience Community Gospel Concert. It's free to the public. The donations are for VIP tickets. VIP tickets are $25, but to be able to sit up front and close in a roped-in area. But it's for the donation of for C19. We're going to be gifting and honoring healthcare workers, first responders, and victims of not only COVID victims and survivors of COVID, but even cancer victims and the C. I'm concentrating on the C. And we pray that this turns into a complete foundation in the future.
It's
And
wonderful.
that's where I'm going with it. And God has been good. Everything so far, the music video, the TV documentary, the gospel concert, and then the giving back. We've been blessed with some great sponsors and and then of course WHMB 40 who's allowing us to air this on their station. I mean, what can we say?
Yeah.
This has been a blessing.
What an incredible journey, and thank you so much for sharing it with us. I would love to know what your message would be to folks who are watching, who, you know, maybe didn't experience COVID close to them, which there's not that many people who haven't had a close experience with COVID, but maybe they haven't. Maybe they're resisting wearing masks or social distancing or whatever any of the precautions are, even though the numbers of deaths and people contracting aren't as high as they were in March and over that summer of 2020. People are still contracting COVID. People are still dying of COVID. So as a survivor, what would you say to folks watching now about what you would love to see happen in the future?
First of all, my first advice would be study, do your research, do your own homework first before you come to an opinion or, you know, one of your social views or this and that. Get the politics out of it. Listen to your healthcare professionals, your scientists. Go in that direction first, because the politics have gotten so involved in it that's why we're removing the mask. If you were to ask me right now, did we remove the mask too soon? I would say yes. Should we still be wearing masks? I would say yes. But I know the pressures from the people. You know, I've also experienced a lot of people for various reasons who have not had anyone that they were close to that got or contracted this disease or virus. Excuse me, that contracted this virus, that they hadn't had any personal loss. And so they look at things in a different way. I say this virus is deadly. It takes no prisoners. It has no friends. So do the right thing. Get the vaccines. Stop fighting it. When it's time, if it's time to put the mask back on, put them on. Sanitize, wash your hands, do all the things. Don't stop I have a bottle of sanitizer, a little small bottle I keep in my pocket. When I go to certain places, I wear my mask. Grocery store is one of the most important places.
Yeah.
People touching everything,
Yeah.
this and that. Carts, I wipe down everything. That's what they should be doing.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people will be, reluctant, but you don't want this disease. You do not want this virus. And the things that it can do to you, as you heard from some of the medical staff that worked on me. No. So be proactive, not reactive.
Yeah.
And think about where you want to be a year from now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great advice.
I almost didn't have that chance.
Yeah, absolutely. That is wonderful advice. I think one of the main themes of everyone that we've talked to throughout this journey, throughout this C19 experience, it has been a reoccurring theme of us taking care of each other as people. And caring about each other and going an extra mile and being just inconvenienced in the smallest way if we have to be to take care of each other. So hopefully, even if people are struggling with empathy in this situation, if they see this broadcast here, they'll be able to see that what we do, we're all connected, and what they do affects their fellow humans. And this is an extraordinary journey to share with the world. So thank you so much for being obedient and building this arc called C19 Experience.
That's my arc.
That's your arc.
C19 Experience.
We're
gonna put it right on the arc.
On the side of the arc. Break that bottle of champagne and send her off into the world. And thank you for being obedient and doing that and dropping that pebble in the pond and creating all of the beautiful ripples that I'm sure is going to come from this, and lives will be changed. So thank you so much for following directions.
And thank you for being a big part of the C19 Experience.
It's been my pleasure.
We definitely appreciate you.
Thank you so much.